What's up everyone, it's Jermaine, and I'm making this video to inspire young African Americans to travel, okay? This is very important because we live in a country where a lot of people never leave the US. Like, they grow up here. There's so much stuff in our country that you don't really have to like go anywhere. I mean, we got mountains, we got beaches, we got it all. I mean, you can go to Hawaii, you can go to Alaska, you can hang out in New York. Pretty much don't have to leave the US. But this is why, if you're young and African American, why you should leave the US, okay? Number one reason why you should is because obviously you're gonna see different culture, you're gonna see different life. You're gonna see things that will make you happy, and traveling will definitely make you like a smarter individual. But the main reason is how you're treated once you leave this country is really different, okay? It's really different how you're treated once you leave this country. The first time I ever left, I didn't really pay it so much attention because I went to like France, and I don't know, it kind of felt like the US, but obviously it wasn't the US and it didn't look anything like the US. But things started to change once I took a trip to Thailand, okay? Because I just felt that like just being black wasn't like a deal at all, you know? Like, coming to New York, there's a lot of tension. Like, it's tough to be black in New York. I live in San Francisco. It's really easy to be black, but in New York, like, there's a lot of stereotypes that people like follow. There's a lot of I mean, for example, I was here last week with my girlfriend, and my girlfriend would tell me to wait on the sidewalk so she could flag down a taxi, you know? Because if I'm out there trying to flag down a taxi, they won't stop for me. Like, I've tried to take taxis many times in New York, and they won't stop for me. And it's not the fact that they're busy, it's because I'm black. Like, I'm black, and they don't want to, like, there's so many bad stereotypes in this country about black people. And it just sucks when, like, it's raining and you can't even get a ride and you see empty taxis, okay? So back to traveling. That's the US, okay? Back to traveling. It's different. Once you leave the US, you're not looked at as this thug, okay? Because I'm totally not a thug. You can listen to the way I talk. You can watch my other videos. I'm not a gangbanger. I'm not a thug. I'm not a troublemaker, you know? But in America, the media portrays that black people are all the same, and that black people are, you know, we're violent, we're aggressive, we're ignorant, we're athletic. Like, I'm totally not athletic. Well, let me take that back. Maybe I can't play basketball, but, you know, I do other sports. But that's like the stereotype. I mean, the bottom line is there's just a lot of racism in this country, and for people who live in communities where there's no black people, you know, what they see on TV is their perception of black people. Like, they see black people looking like fools on TV. So if you don't know any other black people around you, what would you think? And when I'm talking about the media, I'm strictly talking about the American media, because in other countries, they don't show the same stuff. Like, if you go to Brazil, it may be a little bit different, because Brazil, there's a lot of African Americans in Brazil. So I'm sure it would somewhat be similar to the US, but if you take a country like China or Thailand or, I mean, Sweden, you probably wouldn't, the media probably doesn't show black people acting as foolish as they do here in the US. And another thing about the media in the US, the media will portray other countries to be very dangerous. For example, a couple years ago, I went to Egypt, and I booked a flight to Egypt like 3 weeks in advance, and 2 days after I booked the flight, I got an email from Delta saying, you know, you can cancel your flight free of charge because there's a lot of problems going on in Egypt, and at that time, Israel had just bombed like Gaza Strip or something. So Delta sent me an email saying, like, you don't have to take this trip. Well, I took the trip anyway, and I was just like, well, we're just gonna see what happens. So I go to Egypt, you know, go to LAX, go over to Amsterdam, And then I finally get to Egypt, and yeah, what the media was portraying was rioting and chaos. And it definitely was rioting. Well, it wasn't rioting, it was protesting, okay? Rioting is completely different from protesting. It was a peaceful protest, and it was, that was the safest country I've ever been to in my life. And what Fox News was saying is, that's the most dangerous country you can go to. And I didn't see any violence in that country the whole 3 weeks, 2 weeks I was there. And basically, I'm just throwing it out that the media is, they can be just full of shit. Like, the media is there to control people. I mean, if there was some outbreak in New York, they may not even put it on TV because people might freak out. Like, the media is there to control people and to keep certain people in power and keep certain people, like, below power. And if you're smart enough to figure it out, like, it'll be awesome, and you'll know how to combat it, or you'll at least know what to believe and what not to believe. Thanks for watching. If you like my video, hit the like button. If you want to see more, subscribe.